The story of Gao Tu is one of heartbreak, longing, and impossible choices. In the past, all he ever wished for was something simple. Not wealth, not glory, not even romance. He only hoped one day he could be treated equally and correctly as an Omega by Shen Wenlang, whether as a friend or as a colleague, as long as he didn't have to continue lying about who he was, as long as he could remain by Shen Wenlang's side, with his real identity. That, he thought, would be good enough. But people change. Hearts change. And Gao Tu's quiet wish began to transform into something far more dangerous. Now, he had become greedy. Greed, it sounds ugly, doesn't it? But when you love someone the way Gao Tu did, it seeps into your bones. This was terrible. Unforgivable even. Because Shen Wenlang had unknowingly turned Gao Tu from a despicable liar into a greedy thief. He had lied, yes. He had deceived, yes. But worst of all, Gao Tu had stolen. He stole not only Shen Wenlang's trust, not only his opportunity for work, but even stole something far more intimate, a night, a body, and the kind of sex that could only be called the worst mistake of his life. And yet, despite how shameful that night was, despite how broken it left him, Gao Tu's heart betrayed him. Because now, he even had moments terrifying, uncontrollable moments where he let himself imagine something insane. A fantasy. What if, one day, Shen Wenlang could accept his love? The thought itself was poison. It made his chest tighten, as if he were trapped inside a horror movie. It terrified him, because he knew it was impossible. He wondered if he was losing his mind. If this wasn't love anymore but hallucination, obsession, or pure madness. But the cruelest blow hadn't even struck yet, because one day, Gao Tu discovered he was pregnant. The world seemed to collapse in that instant. His mind went blank, his breath caught, and all sound faded into silence. Cognate. How could this be happening to him? The pheromone doctor's words were stern, heavy, and merciless. As a patient with pheromone disorder, it is impossible for you to give birth alone without the cooperation of your partner. Mr. Gao, you can't do this. The doctor was right. He had seen many cases before. He knew just how dangerous Gao Tu's condition was. He had even assumed for a long time that Gao Tu must have had a cruel partner. Someone who discriminated against Omegas. Someone who hated their natural scent. Someone who could never truly stand by Gao Tu's side. Out of responsibility for his patient's life, the doctor did not hesitate. I suggest you terminate the pregnancy immediately. Give up the child. But Gao Tu couldn't accept that. His voice trembled, his face pale. Is there no other way? I heard there are artificial soothing pheromones now. Or maybe I can use the pheromones of other alphas with a higher match. The doctor shook his head. It isn't practical. He looked at Gao Tu's thin, fragile frame with regret. The vomiting, the sleepless nights, the exhaustion that had already worn his body down to nothing. It was clear that Gao Tu was suffering far more than the average pregnant Omega. Artificial pheromones. Their effects are very limited, and using another alpha's pheromones. The doctor paused, his tone sharpening. That carries great moral risk. For a moment, Gao Tu's cheeks burned with shame, because deep inside, he already knew what the doctor meant. To rely on another alpha's pheromones was like opening a door he should never touch. But Gao Tu wasn't thinking of morality. He was thinking of survival. He was thinking of the tiny life inside him. The doctor grew angry. That alpha you like is such a scumbag. But Gao Tu shook his head violently. He's not. His eyes lowered, his voice barely a whisper. It's my fault. It's my own fault. The older Omega doctor slammed the medical record onto the table, furious. What nonsense! You can't get pregnant alone. Doesn't that alpha who clearly hates Omegas but still sleeps with them, doesn't he have any responsibility at all? But Gao Tu refused to argue. There was no point. It was already too late to blame anyone. Instead of wasting time on who was wrong, Gao Tu needed to find a way forward. Doctor, he said softly, I know you're doing this for my own good, I want this child. The confession left his lips like a heavy stone sinking into water. Admitting openly that he wanted to keep Shen Wenlang's child. It was humiliating. It was shameless. But it was also the truth. He lowered his head, his face burning, and continued in a trembling voice. Why can't I use other people's soothing pheromones? The doctor sighed, his tone gentler now. Patients with pheromone disorders have it harder than most. It's already rare for you to even conceive. Without your alpha's comfort, the pregnancy will be nearly impossible to sustain. Your reactions are already much more severe than other omegas. But can't artificial pheromones help? Or higher-ranked alphas? Gao Tu asked desperately. Artificial ones do almost nothing. As for other alphas, the doctor hesitated, then sighed. Extracts can be used, yes. Technology allows us to separate pheromones from blood, but your disorder is not mild. I fear even that won't be enough. You should give up now, before you suffer more. But Gao Tu shook his head. What if we fight for it? The doctor blinked. What? The child's father, Gao Tu whispered. His voice trembled, but his eyes shone with fragile determination. If I can get pheromone extract from him, then I can save the child, right? At that time, Gao Tu still believed. He still thought Shen Wenlang could be reasoned with. He still believed communication could solve everything. He even went so far as to prepare legal documents. A property waiver, an inheritance waiver, even a parent-child severance agreement. He tried to make it clear. I don't want your money. I don't want your name. I don't even want you. I just want the child. But reality was cruel. After all that preparation, all that courage. When Gao Tu finally brought up the topic, Shen Wenlang's only response was ice cold. Of course, abort it. Those words shattered him. Every fragile hope, every desperate plan, gone in an instant. At that moment, Gao Tu truly despaired. Artificial pheromones? Useless. Other alphas? Impossible. Even Shen Wenlang himself refused to help. There was nothing left. He didn't even want to speak to him again. Not a word, not a glance. And so, standing at the door of Gao Qing's clinic, Gao Tu froze in place. His body remained still, but his mind was in ruins. He stared blankly at a stain on the ground, eyes unfocused, heart empty. He stood there for a long time, not even realizing the world was still moving around him, because in that moment, Gao Tu knew he was truly alone. Do you think Gao Tu will manage to keep the child? Or will fate tear it away from him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this dramatic retelling, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more ABO and BL story breakdowns every week.